Welcome to my very messy kitchen. We will be cleaning that today. I actually have some meal prep I am hoping to do because life is lifing. But first, this just came in the mail. I had to show you guys first. I went out on a limb and I tried something new and we're gonna see it together. Look what I made. Okay, so I went on KDP. It's the Kindle, what does D stand? Okay, Kindle Direct Publishing, okay? You can go on there and publish your own little bookies here. This has been months in the making because, you know, I've just been working on it in my free time. If you've been around a while, you know I talk about positive things. Yeah, one of the things when I was deep in depression was, and I really, truly, wholeheartedly believe that this altered my brain chemistry during this time. Let's open it up, okay? So it says positive things. Dun, 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 dun. All right, inside there's a little message from me. It also has the Bible verse that sort of inspired this and inspired me way back when I started doing this practice, was Philippians 4:8. I'll read it to you. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And then it goes on to say, and if you do, the peace of God will be with you. And you know, when you're in the depths of depression, you kind of need peace. So what I started practicing was every day I would write 3 positive things, okay? A lot of people say, write down what you're grateful for. For me, when I was prompted with what am I grateful for, it was always the same things. So to make it more interesting for myself, I wrote down 3 positive things that happened to me within the past 24 hours. So that was kind of the prompt and guidelines I gave myself. And I just do it in a journal, you know. You don't need something like this, but I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I had a little journal that showed exactly that? And the glare is too bright in here, but it's a pretty light pink. And then inside our little, you know, each page is for like a week. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. Or if you're like me, a type B person, where you might do it 3 days a week. You know, I didn't date them for that reason. So left undated, so you can add to it whenever you want. It'll last longer that way, right? But ideally, it's if you want the altered brain chemistry, you want to do it every day. So anyway, oh, and then I put like little coloring pages in there too with encouraging Bible verses, you know, to doodle. And the cool thing is you can find them on Amazon. So we can all be writing our positive things down. And I went ahead and bought extra copies. I don't want to touch them because I don't want to get them dirty. But I bought extra copies in here too. So I thought I could give away a couple. So we're just going to do a random draw. Go ahead and comment 1 to 3 positive things that has happened to you in the last 24 hours. If I select your comment, I'm going to tell you to go find my email in the description box, okay? That's how you can guarantee it's me commenting, because I'm the only one that has access to the description box, okay? So you're gonna go to my description box under this video, find my email and email me, okay? And I'll tell you whatever to put in the subject line. And then I can get these mailed off to you. I'm so excited. I will try and add some B-roll to this of a few of my days so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. I'm so excited. And then there's one more thing at the end, at the very back of the book. I have a few pages for reflections. And since we're writing all of our positive things down here, we can go back and look and write down how life has changed. You know, how thinking positive, you know, changed our year. So anyway. Science actually backs up the fact that positive thinking can rewire our brains. There's a process that occurs called neuroplasticity, which is our brain's ability to change its structure and function in response to learning, experience, or injury. And because of this process, people with traumatic brain injuries can relearn to walk and talk again. Studies also show that by consciously and consistently thinking positive, we can build more positive neural pathways and weaken the negative ones over time. Okay, I bought this off the TikTok shop, and it's one of my favorite purchases ever. So if you see these, you gotta pick one up because they are so easy to clean and put back together. You can actually put all these parts into the dishwasher. Well, I don't put the bottom part, but all the other parts I put into the dishwasher, cleans it, and quite frankly, it's just fun to use.
Wish I could say I was finally over you, but that's not the truth. Everyone always keep falling in love again. What's wrong with them? I don't understand. Maybe it will pass by, someone save me. Before I pass out, I'm too lonely to be done. I'ma drink at this page. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to do a kitchen declutter. I don't normally store this out on the counter. I just don't use it that often. Although we are getting into the season that I do use it. I don't like a whole bunch of stuff on my counters, but my appliance cabinet is a little too full. So that's where it's gonna have to stay for now. And shout out to all the moms out there. My poor mom had to buy this for me to remind me to call her. Isn't she a hoot? So here's my reminder and your reminder to call your mom. I really need to get going on cooking, so that's why I'm cleaning this first. I cannot cook in a dirty kitchen. I just can't do it. And that's why I don't cook very much, because my kitchen's always dirty. I need to get in the habit of cleaning after I cook. That way my kitchen's always clean. So there are a lot of changes happening in the Leaf household. First, my daughter got a permit, and y'all, I did not realize how unprepared I was for this stage of life. If y'all have any tips or tricks or whatever to get through this phase, yeah, send them my way. She's great. Nothing against her. She's doing great. But I didn't realize how or what a toll that would take on my anxiety. Yeesh. And I mean, I really should not be surprised because I'm not a good car rider to begin with. I don't know. I haven't always been that way, but the most peaceful spot for me in a vehicle is behind the wheel. And being in the passenger seat with a brand new driver, that just amplified my anxiety to the next level. So right now, Steven is teaching her kind of the basics, kind of getting her used to being behind the wheel. We're using Aceable, which we love. If you have a new driver coming up, I highly, highly recommend. I'm going to put my referral link in the description box. So if you want to use that, it's not sponsored. It's just your regular old referral link that you give to friends. So anyway, that's been a great program. I just hope I can snap out of it, because I really do not like that I'm like that in a car. And I couldn't tell you where that came from, except for just, maybe just hearing horror stories that just hit me in the heart. I don't know. I was really, really looking forward to teaching her how to drive, just because I thought, well, if I teach her, maybe I will feel more comfortable with her being a second driver in the house. So anyway, your tips and tricks, let me know. Say a prayer for me. Okay, that was the aesthetic shot, and then we'll get to that in a minute. Now I gotta start doing some meal prep. Ideally, I would like to have all the meals prepared in the casserole dishes and whatever, but we just do what we can here to try and get ahead. So, sometimes I can overwhelm myself by trying to make it all. Whereas if I just basically get the meat prepped or the veggies cut up and prepped, then I'm sitting pretty good, and the food's not going to go to waste, and it's going to be ready to go when I do have time to cook it. It's only taken me 40 years to realize it's not an all or none mentality. Okay, I always had this, I got to either do nothing at all or I have to do it all, and that is just not true. I frequently say around here, we do our best and we forget the rest. I got these new pans on Walmart.com. The handle comes off and then it turns into like a little metal bowl. And even better than that, they have little silicone lids that go on top so you can put your leftovers in. I just thought these were the coolest things. So I got these chicken thighs, and actually when I do shredded chicken, I prefer to use chicken breast, just because it's a leaner cut of meat, and normally I trim off the extra fat, but I can't find my kitchen shears, so we're not gonna be doing that. So we're gonna throw some of these in there. The more I'm filming this kitchen, I'm realizing the need for a kitchen declutter. So we did half this package of chicken in the pressure cooker for chicken spaghetti, and this other half of the chicken we're going to marinate with some barbecue sauce and throw it on the grill later this week.
An option to be someone else, I would. And let go.
And look at that. The label I wrote or thought I was writing is on the back. This is just life with Shannon. I tell you, we fake it till we make it around here. We act like we know what we're doing, but we really don't. Okay, the meatloaf calls for minced onions, so we're gonna try this for mincing, because I really don't feel like chopping. This is on the largest cheese grater setting. Let's see what we get. Oh wow, my eyes are burning. So not quite minced, kind of strings like cheese. So I'm gonna just rough chop these and that'll be close enough for me. Oh man, my eyes are watering. Stephen and I went on a trip this past weekend, and I have yet to unpack. So the A team, as far as my makeup, is still packed away. So I did my makeup with the B team today, and since my regular mascara was packed, I used waterproof, and I'm very grateful for that now. See? All right, I've decided we are having the meatloaf tonight. And so I've got the oven preheating there. And then this is, I feel like meatloaf is really hard to screw up, because you just put what you like in there, add a couple eggs and some breadcrumbs, and you got it made. So actually the recipe I have says to cook the onions, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. They're probably going to be a little bit moisture, so I left out some of the liquid that it called for. But we've got onion, garlic, salt, pepper, thyme, parsley, panko breadcrumbs, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, and eggs, and some milk in there, which went to the bottom. So I'm just going to mix that one up and get that going in the oven. Alright, I've got the ground beef ready for lasagna or tacos. I might use it for tacos too, because that is a lot of ground beef. I don't think I need that much for the lasagna. And I realized when I bought the ricotta, I bought the wrong size. That gets me every time. I'm not even kidding you. I've ordered red Solo cups and then gotten the little shot glasses because of the picture. Because pictures are deceiving on there, and you'd think by now I'd read the ounces. Honestly, 15 ounces sounds like a lot, when in reality it's like this big. Oh well. So I actually got to order some more of those before I can make the lasagna. So hopefully I do that soon, and do not forget. But the chicken's ready too, so actually I'm letting that naturally release, and I'll just package those up in a little Tupperware and then put them in the fridge. And those are ready for meals during the week. Meatloaf is in the oven, so we will be dining on that tonight. And so food prep is done. And now I must clean the other half of this kitchen.
I know that I'm obvious, yet I'm made this way. But why didn't I stay when I had the chance? Maybe it will pass by, someone save me for a pass out. I'm too lonely to be done.
I don't know if I mentioned what this chicken was going to be for, but we're making chicken spaghetti with it. This week was Eric's suggestion. So whenever I'm meal planning, I pull whatever kid close to me and I say, what do you want for dinner? So his requests were lasagna, meatloaf, and chicken spaghetti. This was actually Grace's birthday meal. I don't make it very often because it calls for Velveeta and cream of mushroom and stuff, but I'll throw it in there occasionally. I just don't like to do a whole lot of like preservatives, ingredients, and all that. But my grandma used to make this, and so it's kind of like a comfort meal in a way. All it is spaghetti noodles. Oh, yeah, we see you. We see you snacking. Anyway, those dots are the bomb. Anyway, chicken spaghetti. I'm just going to put the recipe up on a card here for you guys so y'all can screenshot it. It's really good, okay? So make it. Think of me. Think of my mamaw. And enjoy. Okay, well, I was just talking to you and the camera wasn't even on, but I was showing you as I'm cleaning up Ella's sweet little art projects. Let's see if it'll focus. Look at these little guys. Some of them are not quite finished, but have y'all ever heard of Jellycats? They're like super soft little stuffed animals. I can't afford them, but But they did get some as gifts for birthdays and such. But they made little clay Jellycat minis. Oh, they are so adorable.
I'm too lonely to be downing my drink at this pace. Yeah. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain with nobody to hold on to? Ooh. Why am I the only one who's feeling this pain when there should be two of us? And yeah, I know we both wanted different things, but letting go just comes easy to you.
I really do not want to do these dishes. Yowzers. The good news is my daughter did come down and unload for me, so I don't have to do that. I've got to take this food out in about 10 to 20 minutes. So my goal is to have these completely done, dinner out, clean kitchen. Tomorrow, Shannon is gonna really appreciate me. Taking care of future Shannon is always a motivation for me. And the reason is because I can walk into a clean room and it can just set up my mood for the whole day. And then consequently, if I walk into a messy room and I feel like I'm starting behind, that can also derail my day. So future Shannon is always at the top of my mind. What can I do to set myself up for success? Alright, I have a lot of hand wash dishes, but I like to wash our water bottles first because those require very little. They're basically clean because they only have water in them. So those don't take very long. One's missing its straw. I think the meatloaf is done. I know I mentioned a lot of life changes were happening over here in the Leaf House. Grace driving is actually small potatoes compared to what I'm about to tell you. Stephen has been, for really his entire professional career, been in sales. And he, a couple years ago, got a degree in spiritual leadership and has decided to go all in on it. So he's going into the ministry, and I'm actually really excited about it for him because when I first met Stephen, that's one of the things that attracted me to him is he just had a relationship with Jesus. He knew a lot about the Bible. I was still pretty new in my faith. I like to say that I had the relationship with Jesus first, and then, and as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into studying the Word. And so when I met Stephen, he just knew so much. Stephen was a missionary kid. He grew up in Ecuador. His parents were missionaries. And so he has a really cool foundation. I'm actually trying to encourage him to start a YouTube channel so that he can kind of talk more about that. Anyway, this has been kind of a scary transition. We've really had to step out of our comfort zone. Stephen's sales jobs have always provided for us 100%. He's been the primary breadwinner in this relationship for our family, and ministry, it's not going to pay a whole lot. I'm still hoping that I can homeschool and I won't have to get a job. I'm going to try and be putting out more and more videos to also help. You know, at one point, YouTube was a pretty decent income for me. Since I haven't been putting out videos as regularly, you know, that affects the algorithm, it affects sponsorship deals. So I don't know if I can get that back up or not. So we're just going to let the Lord take over on all that and providing. I've always joked about, you know, decluttering and pretending that we're going to have to move. We had always wanted to like go get land somewhere and move like that. And we had been like casually house shopping for many years. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to declutter every room, like we are going to move. So when that house comes available to us, we'll be able to do that. And now it's becoming a reality. You know, we might very well be moving. All the jobs that Stephen is trying out for, he's actually in the interview process for different ministry positions all around Texas. And so the reality is we probably are going to have to move. And I really struggled with that at first. You know, life is easy. Having faith is easy when you're comfortable, but when you're having to exercise your faith, like actually exercise your faith and trust God and realize you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone, that's not as easy as it sounds. So I had to wrestle a little bit because I was like, I'm not moving. I want to stay here. You know, we have a wonderful church home. We have a wonderful homeschool community. And I love our home. Like, I honestly, I could live in this house to the day I die. And so changing all that and leaving all that is scary. But I've reached a point where I'm okay with that. I'm surrendering to that. And so we are probably going to be moving. You know, the one thing I said with our parents getting older and stuff, I want to stay in Texas. And it seems like that will be no problem. He's gotten a ton of interviews. And so I don't think that'll be an issue. So yeah, big changes. And I'm thinking that we're going to have to for sure do like a decluttering because I'm moving series. Or that'll just be a working title for now. But basically, start decluttering every space as if I'm moving. And that way, if it does happen, we're ready. And your prayers on that too. My kids don't do change very well. They're kind of like their mama on that. And so I'm a little bit nervous, but I've just come to the realization that, you know, this is just going to have to be a part of their story. And I don't want to rob them of any sort of their sanctification process. You know what I mean? I've got 2 teenage girls and then Eric, who's in 3rd grade. And, you know, they've got a good friend group. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But one thing I do know is that they are very resilient kids. And I know that they are excited for their dad. And there is a little bit of excitement in a new adventure as well. So we could just use your prayers, all of us, for this huge life change. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Kitchen's clean. The rest of the house is not. That's all right. Like I said, we do our best. We forget the rest. If you haven't already, go say something kind to yourself. Pick up your positive things journal, and we'll see you in the next video.